when we advocate democracy around the world, we have to be very careful what we're talking about, because you cannot impose upon a people who have never had any experience of democracy and full-blown democracy tomorrow morning. It's going to take time, it takes development, and very often you're going to elect the wrong people on occasion, and the question then becomes whether you can develop the process of democratization over a period of time, but you should never expect that we can take American democracy and dump it into somebody's country and expect it's going to work.
Well, what about this? I mean, we can't... Can we also...
To me again.
What?
That will never happen to me again. Excuse me.
I cued them. That's why...
Go ahead,
Applaud for Eagleburger. That's what I said. No matter what he said. But what I was trying to get at was this, Mr. Secretary. We advocate democracy. A country takes it, elects somebody. We don't like the result. And then we say, oh, never mind, that wasn't what we... And then what do we... What then do the advocates of democracy in the United States of America do about a bad result? Chavez being a perfect... Chavez was mentioned. Here's a guy, he was elected by the people.
Right, and what do we do about it? We may have to take a very hard look and say, well, we certainly made a mistake this time, but I don't think we can then go in, as we often did in the past, and decide we're going to get rid of Mr. Chavez. That doesn't work anymore, and we're going to have to expect twice now. That doesn't. We're going to have to expect that on occasions like this, the Chavezes of this world, you have to assume over time are going to get themselves in so much trouble, and he's in the process now, I think, that sooner or later they're going to be replaced. But we cannot expect that we're going to be successful every time we advocate an election.
Got it.
And I don't think this country can police the world.
Amen.
If someone...
As I reflect back on the 2007 commemoration, I must say that I feel blessed. I don't feel blessed in the spiritual sense that many of you would relate to when you hear that word. I feel blessed in an opportunistic standpoint. I began working on this commemoration in 1995, and I remember the first meeting that we had in Richmond, where there was such harmony amongst a multitude of partners that we had to bring in a professional facilitator. This is not an exaggeration. This is not a Tommy hyperbole, I promise. We had to bring in a professional facilitator to start the dialogue and exchange between the various prospective partners in order to try to advance this commemoration. And probably the best characterization that I can offer is that I sat there that day with healthy skepticism that we would ever see the fruition of this event in 2007. I am proud to say that here in 2007, at the conclusion of the signature events, that I stand before you with some haughty satisfaction. It has really been an incredible run beginning in May of 2006 when the Godspeed left the moorings at Jamestown settlement to begin its sail up the East Coast, where optimistically those of us in the marketing business of this commemoration hoped that at least 250,000 visitors would set foot on that Godspeed as it went into its various ports. And interestingly enough, at its first port in Old Town, Alexandria, we almost reached 2/3 of that expectation, which was almost doubled during the entire sail up the East Coast. We went through a series of events ranging from the Godspeed to the appearance of Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, which was quite an event and perhaps is going to be one of the defining moments of this entire commemoration. We had visitors by the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, and as those of you participating in the Democracy Conference saw yesterday, our Secretary of Defense. I think one of the things that I am proudest of is that when we began this commemoration, we did heed Dr. Ellis's words that, in fact, we were trying to learn from the past and that we were not going to replicate some of the shortcomings that we had. We placed great emphasis on maintaining an appropriate balance between the cultural diversity of the three cultures that intersected at Jamestown, beginning mostly in 1619, when at that time we had the English-speaking settlers, we had the Native Americans, and we had the introduction of the African Americans. Not only did we place appropriate balance on the participation of each of those cultures during this commemoration, we afforded them independence and self-determination on the programmatic decisions that they have made. So I will say it has been quite a run. We have, I think, dispelled the myth from my good friends who are from the North, and I've had a terrible habit at most engagements associated with 2007 and asking everyone from Massachusetts to please raise their hand. Thank you very much, and you're beautiful, but I can see you in the back because I kept my glasses on. And I like to remind them that I think that the Pilgrims at Plymouth Rock had a better public relation firm than we did at Jamestown in 1607, because when the Pilgrims set foot on that less than mammoth piece of granite in Massachusetts, that the Jamestown settlement had been in existence for 13 years. And I think one of the legacies... politicians are always prone to looking at the legacies. What imprint have I left that people can say I've done wonderful things about? That eye is not this eye, it is a royal eye. And I think clearly one of the things that we've done is we have renewed an awareness in both the relevancy and the significance of what took place at the Jamestown settlement, where not only did we begin cultural diversity, but we also began the promotion of a free market enterprise with capitalism and the first advancement of representative democracy that you have spent many hours participating in the last couple of days. And I think that renewed awareness, along with a respectful sensitivity of the diversity of this nation, is probably the legacy that we have left.
In the Middle Age in Europe, plague was going from town to town, killing people. And once, men met plague and asked, "Plague, you are have such a bad mission and everything. What you are doing? You are killing people." And plague said, "Yes, it's my mission to kill people." In certain period of time, the same man met plague again and said, "Plague, I met you last time. You said that you are going to that city and you were going to kill 1,000 people. But when I came after you to that city and I found that 50,000 people are dead." And Plague said, "Listen, I did what I said to you. I killed only 1,000 people." And man said, "Listen, but I saw 50,000 people are killed. We're dead." And Plague said, "Listen, I killed 1,000 and the rest died of fear." And I wish what I learned from this tale, fear sitting very deeply in each of us, and very important to overcome small fear in each of us.
We have to start sharing our hopes, which is the most important thing. In that way, I think we will contribute with the promotion of international values for global democracy. I expect from this transcendental work forum leaders to help me sow the first seeds of this idea, as once your founders believed that this land could have peace and liberty. I am very happy to be here.